Due to the fact that Adam Lambert had finished in second place on American Idol, the rock world was filled with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism when he made his debut as the frontman for Queen in the year 2012. Is it possible for a reality TV star to fill the enormous shoes that Freddie Mercury, one of the most iconic vocalists in rock music, left behind? Even after more than a decade has passed, the debate continues, with some fans and critics referring to Lambert as the worst replacement singer in rock history. It is necessary, however, to investigate this claim. Is it true that Lambert is a misfit, or does his time spent with Queen reveal a more nuanced story of adaptation, respect, and modern showmanship? For Lambert to be considered the worst replacement singer, specific context is required. There have been numerous high-profile frontman changes throughout the history of rock music, such as Steve Perry replacing Greg Rowley in Journey, Sammy Hagar taking over for David Lee Roth in Van Halen, and J.D. Fortune becoming the new frontman for INXS after Michael Hutchence. All of them were subjected to criticism, but Lambert's situation is one of a kind. Freddie Mercury was more than just a singer. He was also a theatrical genius, a vocal powerhouse, and a cultural icon whose flamboyance defined Queen's identity. The task of replacing him was always going to be the equivalent of recasting Shakespeare in his own play. It was going to be a Herculean task. As a point of contention, Lambert's detractors frequently point to the fact that he was a contestant on American Idol. Despite the fact that it is known for producing pop stars such as Kelly Clarkson, the show does not appear to have rock god credibility. Some people believe that Lambert's polished, pop-influenced style is incompatible with Queen's raw, operatic rock energy. There was a disconnect that some fans noticed during early performances, such as the concert in Kyiv in 2012. Lambert's vocal runs, despite being technically impressive, felt more like they were from Broadway than they were from Bohemian Rhapsody. Between the years 2013 and 2015, he was frequently referred to as too theatrical or trying too hard to mimic Freddie on online forums such as Reddit, and One user even went so far as to say, he's a karaoke version of Mercury. The majority of the criticism is fueled by vocal comparisons. The voice of Mercury was a rare combination of power, range, and emotional depth. It was capable of shifting from tender, love of my life, to bombastic, Bohemian Rhapsody, demonstrating its versatility. There is no denying that Lambert, a trained vocalist who possesses a range of 4 octaves, possesses the chops. His high notes in Who Wants to Live Forever frequently amaze audiences. However, there are those who believe that his delivery does not possess the same soulful grit as Mercury's. In a review of Queen and Adam Lambert's performance at Madison Square Garden in 2014, Rolling Stone noted that although Lambert hits the notes, he occasionally misses the heart, particularly in ballads where Mercury's vulnerability shone through. The presence of the performer on stage is yet another argument. There was something magnetic about Mercury's charisma. He was commanding, strutting, and effortlessly genuine. Lambert, on the other hand, leans more toward high camp, with glittery costumes and choreographed moves that have a more Las Vegas vibe than a London pub rock vibe. This approach has been criticized on various platforms, such as Ultimate Guitar, as being overproduced, with critics arguing that it obscures Queen's music. Some users of X tweeted that Lambert's diva energy felt out of place during his performance of We Will Rock You at the 2019 Academy Awards. One of these tweets received 3,000 likes and claimed that he's singing Queen, but it's not Queen. Another reason for the label worst is the reverence that people have for Mercury, whose passing in 1991 created a void that cannot be filled. Lambert is frequently regarded as an outsider by fans who were raised with Queen during the 1970s and 1980s, regardless of the fact that he is talented. When Brian Johnson joined AC/DC after Bon Scott's death, purists revolted. However, Johnson's 40-year tenure eventually won respect. This sentiment is similar to other replacement controversies that have occurred in the past. Lambert, on the other hand, is going to have to contend with a more difficult audience. This is in part due to the fact that Mercury's legacy is almost legendary, which was heightened by the 2019 film Bohemian Rhapsody. His supporters contend that he is being unfairly evaluated while being held to an impossible standard. After working with Lambert on the American Idol competition in 2009, the remaining members of Queen, Brian May and Roger Taylor, decided to go with Lambert. May has expressed his admiration for Lambert's one-in-a-billion voice and his admiration for the legacy of Queen on multiple occasions. Lambert does not compose new Queen material, in contrast to other replacements who rewrite the sound of a band, such as Heir's Van Halen. At the same time that he faithfully performs the classics, he frequently imitates Mercury's phrasing while adding his own unique flair. At a concert held at the O2 in London in 2022, his rendition of Don't Stop Me Now was so well received that YouTube videos were uploaded showing a crowd of 20,000 people singing along with him. Lambert is not attempting to imitate Mercury in any way. His approach is deliberate. During an interview with the BBC in the year 2020, he stated, "I'm here to celebrate Freddie, not replace him." He is distinguished from replacements such as Gary Cherone, whose brief stint with Van Halen was criticized for overwriting the band's identity. This humility sets him apart from Cherone. There is an emphasis on spectacle in Lambert's performances, such as the 2023 Rhapsody Tour, which includes pyrotechnics, laser shows, and costume changes. These performances are tailored to modern arena audiences. Septis.fm data reveals that Queen and Adam Lambert performed 250 shows between the years 2012 and 2025, generating more than $400 million in revenue. This indicates that fans are attending the concerts in large numbers. When compared to other replacements, Lambert continues to perform admirably. Although he is well-liked, Arnold Pineda of Journey was initially met with skepticism due to the fact that he was a U2 cover band. Ian Gillan, the guitarist for Deep Purple, had a difficult time matching David Coverdale's bluesy tone. At the very least, Lambert's vocal ability is rarely called into question. His live performance of Somebody to Love at the Isle of Wight Festival in 2016 received a standing ovation. When people say that he is the worst, it is not so much about his talent as it is about the emotional baggage that fans bring to the comparison against Mercury. Context is critical as well. This is not a new band. Rather, it is a tribute project known as Queen plus Adam Lambert. It would have been possible for May and Taylor, who are now in their late 70s, to retire, but instead they decided to keep Queen's music alive. Their ability to tour internationally is made possible by Lambert's youthfulness. He is 43 years old, and energy, which Paul Rodgers, Queen's frontman from 2004 to 2009, was unable to maintain. The veteran blues rock musician Rodgers was criticized for making Queen sound like Bad Company as a result of his work. Lambert, on the other hand, adheres more closely to the original arrangements, despite the fact that his delivery is more embellished. In addition, the Worst label disregards the influence that Lambert has had on Queen's relevance. For example, according to data provided by Ticketmaster, 30% of the people who attended the 2023 tour were under the age of 35. The fact that he is open about being gay as an artist strikes a chord with contemporary audiences, reflecting Mercury's own persona of breaking down barriers, albeit set in a different era. One tweet that went viral read, "Adam Lambert makes Queen feel alive again for Gen Z." This tweet is just one example of the many posts from 2025 that show fans praising Lambert's inclusiveness. When all is said and done, referring to Lambert as the worst has less to do with objective failure and more to do with the fact that it is impossible to replace a legend. Even though he is not Mercury, no one could be, he is not making any effort to be. Honoring a sacred catalogue while simultaneously injecting his own personality is a balancing act that he performs during his tenure. If longevity, ticket sales, and maintaining Queen's music in arenas are the parameters by which success is measured, then Lambert is not even close to being the worst. In a position that was always going to be the subject of debate, he is a courageous choice that is both divisive and dedicated. According to May, who was interviewed by Guitar World in 2024, "Adam's not Freddie, but he's our Adam, and he's bloody brilliant." These words were spoken by May.